Hello gamers, I'm running Kid here coming to you again. How's everybody doing out there? Uh, so what's just another thought video in a sense, and since the last thought video I did went pretty well, where I gave my thoughts on what I would like to see from a Virtual Fighter versus Tekken game, and got your input on it, and I thought it was great. So here I am once again, kind of giving my thoughts on a franchise that I am a huge fan of. Been playing it since I was since I was young, and fell in love with the characters. And but I'm here to talk about the characters from that series that don't have a Y chromosome, in a sense. Um, and I'm here to talk about the women of Street Fighter. Give my thoughts on them. Yes, the women of Street Fighter. As you guys should know, I love strong women and I love strong female characters. And the women of Street Fighter personify that. They actually showcase that they can handle themselves and they can stand toe to toe with the big boys and don't need that quote unquote knight in shining armor. So here I am to give you basically my thoughts on many of the characters. Now, I will only do those playable characters that were actually in the Street Fighter games. So basically the games that I'm doing are starting with Street Fighter 2 through Alpha and to 4 and to now. No characters from EX or anything like that, because I don't consider EX content in the Street Fighter universe in a sense. So I hope you guys enjoy and sit back, relax, and see what you think about it. Alright, so I guess basically to kick it off is none other than we got to start with the first female. You know, in my decision, in my knowledge, she is considered the Wonder Woman of fighting games. She's the one that kicked it off. If it wasn't for her, you know, she was the stepping stone, basically. She was that pinnacle that every female character that transcended after her kind of follows, in my opinion. And that's none other than Miss ChunLi. Oh boy. Um, with ChunLi, guys, am I a fan of hers? Yes. I think she is such a strong character, and when we are first introduced to her in Street Fighter 2, she was the only female character. She was the only female character in a slot full of boys, you know. But she showcased that she can handle herself. Now, the things about Chun-Li, what was mostly her characteristics? Some of her characteristics that we all loved about her. Most importantly, them legs. Those legs, yeah. You could literally make a tribute about her and have that song, She's Got Legs, and she knows how to use them. Yes, indeed. Chun-Li, the people of Capcom showcased that her strength and power comes from those legs. Her body is pretty much is legs, and all her techniques are based on her legs. Everything about it, from her famous lightning kick to her famous spinning bird kick, they really orchestrated a lot of her moves coming from her kicks. And yes, she had a projectile, you know, her key call cant and things like that, but mostly it was the legs, and she used them so well. And there was something always great about her character as well. She was strong, but also a woman at best. You know, a little bit of innocence, but not. Now they always classify it as a policewoman or Interpol agent. And the most thing that she wanted was what? She wanted revenge from Bison or Vega, wherever you are in the world, for the death of her father. Bison, as we all know, did a lot of damage to a lot of characters in the Street Fighter universe, and Chun-Li was hit hard with that because she lost a family member. And we saw Chun-Li go on and on and on to fight the good fight, team up with people like Guile and people like that, to stop Bison. And so you got to give ChunLi a lot of credit, and she's still popular to this day. Um, you know, they're just a lot of people just show her a lot of respect, and that's the thing. That's the thing about it, right? It's respect. You know, like I said, she's the pinnacle of where the other female characters in different franchises are now. You know, because of her, ChunLi, we got people like Sonya Blade and Mai Shiranui and Nina Williams, and you know, all the other people. You know, she truly is that character that is like stands up there. Even though some people might not agree, but she is that pinnacle of truly the first female of fighting games, and you gotta respect that about her. And I do. What about you guys? So we move on to basically the next character, and she was a lot different than ChunLi. This character was a lot different than ChunLi. I kind of consider her the princess in a sense of Street Fighter because she was the second female character to come out of Street Fighter, and that's none other than Cammy White, or Cammy, as we all know her as. Uh, this little British Spitfire here was more of that gritty, in-your-face, hard-hitting style. Not more, a lot finesse. There was some finesse with her, but she was more rugged, hard-hitting back fists, straight low kicks. You know, her cannon drill attack was badass. Um, this chick would literally do hurricane ranas and break your neck, you know, things like that. She had a history. She was another one that had a big history. Another thing, Bison or Vega was behind it. I mean, she had no memory of who she was, but we find out that she was one of Bison's dolls. Pretty much his little squad of females that are assassins. But we knew right from the get-go when you looked at Cammy, she looked like she was military based. You know, she had the beret and kind of the camo, and she, man, was she cut. Like, she was just really cut up to like really showcase how fit she was. And like I said, she became, in my opinion, she was like the princess of Street Fighter. Cammy, well, ChunLi being the queen, here's the princess. Cammy was just badass. I loved playing with her. We first see her in Super Street Fighter 2. And I remember the cover. You know, they showed the Super Street Fighter 2 cover where it was just a brick wall, and we saw silhouettes of the 4 new characters going from biggest to smallest. So you saw T-Hawk, him being the biggest, DJ, Fei Long, and Cammy. And when Cammy came on the scene, her stage was great. I loved her music, you know. And then finally, when we get more depth into her character, we just see, wow, you know, she has her character, her history, her past, everything. Such a mystery, but you feel for the character. And when she finally gains her memory back and everything like that, it was great. She's a character that I play with till this day. I love playing with her. She's just rugged and gritty. Like, she takes no prisoners when she's fighting. Very aggressive style, and I love it. I love it a lot. Cammy's just a very good character that I love very much. Alright, so when the Street Fighter series, well, I should say the Street Fighter 2, Capcom, instead of going right into the third one, they went with a different approach, and they went kind of a backstory, like a year one in a sense, like Street Fighter Year One in a sense. They called it Street Fighter Alpha. And with Alpha, the Alpha series, we kind of get a little bit more of like, these are supposed to be the characters that younger. For example, Ryu and Ken, they were younger. Ryu didn't have his red bandana, he had the white. Ken still had his very long hair, things like that. And we are introduced, we get kind of quote unquote the psychic, the psychic, the mystic of the Street Fighter universe in the form of Rose. Now, with Rose, guys, I do see a lot of, like favorite mystic characters in comics that I love, like Zatanna and people like that. Rose came along. She's Italian. She is kind of supposed to be like the yin to, I guess you could say, Bison's yang in a sense. Like, she's more on the good side. She wants to stop Bison in a sense, and she has these psychic abilities that came along that was really good. When we were introduced to her, what was it? Alpha 1, right? I believe, yes. Alpha, she first introduced. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys. I'm getting old. Rose, I didn't really play too much with Rose, but I did respect the character. She had a lot of her moves came from her cloth, where she would use her cloth as like a lot of moves. Like she was able to redirect like somebody's projectile. Say if Sagat threw the tiger wave at her, she could use her cloth and it would bounce back off and hit him. Things like that. It was fun. I did appreciate Rose as what Capcom was trying to do with her. But I don't play with her a lot. I really play with her a lot. It's not that I hate her. I do have respect for her, but it's just the fact that I don't know. It's just I feel uncomfortable playing with her sometimes. Like, I don't know. It's like when I try to play with her, I play with her to see her endings and stuff like that. But I never fight with her online and things like that when I'm playing Street Fighter games online. I usually stay away from her because it's not that I'm not good with her, it's just don't really feel her too much in that sense, but I do respect her character. Just put it like that. Okay. So I hope that didn't really I hope I didn't disrespect Rose for those fans who like her. I would never disrespect her. I'm just saying, for me, I'm not that much of a big, huge fan of her. But like I said, there is respect. But when Alpha 2 comes out, we get another female character. And I think when I remember first seeing this character, I was really like, oh my god. They finally are going to showcase, Capcom's going to really showcase Ryu has family. And we're introduced to Sakura. And in Street Fighter Alpha 2, and I loved how she came on the stage, like she runs and she's ready to fight. She resembles Ryu in every way. And we find out she's not related to Ryu. She's just a huge fan of his. She saw him fight one time and she got really inspired. And her quest now is to be trained by the man with the bandana, with the red bandana. So she wears a white bandana. She's in Ryu's, traditional fight style, fighting stance. But she's not trained by Goken. But somehow she's able to do the Hadouken. She's able to do her version of the Hurricane Kick, the Dragon Punch, just by mimicking what she saw Ryu do. And I found that cool. I was like, okay, this is cool. I like this. I became a big fan of Sakura's. She's in a traditional schoolgirl, outfit. So basically showing she is a high school student. and she's practically almost one of the youngsters of the Street Fighter universe. Uh, I found her really intriguing and very much determined. I loved her attitude. You know, she just wants to get better, and when she does meet Ryu, she's pleading with him, please train me, train me, train me, train me. And as humble as Ryu is, what does he always say? I'm sorry, I'm still training myself, in a sense, feeling that because she sees Ryu as a master, Ryu doesn't, and that's something that I've always loved about Ryu's character. But with Sakura, she came off just really fun and always willing to learn, always willing to progress. And even to now, she's still progressing. But I think it's about time that I would love to see Capcom showcase her now older, like maybe in her late teens or early 20s, where she's out of high school, and showcase how much she's improved over the years, you know, things like that. Because here's a character I would love to see older, and here's a character I would love to see Master Goken take under his wing. For me, I've always wanted to see a female Shotokan practitioner trained by Goken. And I feel that Sakura would be that person that Goken can train, and just my imagination just runs wild, and I'm like, oh man, how badass would she be under Goken's tutelage and things like that, and showcase just see her older in terms of, because Sakura's always been very athletic and things like that, so imagine how she would be in her early 20s, like 21, 22, you know, just, and still rocking the bandana, but just a little bit more fit, more, still has that carefree attitude, but still more, but also on the serious side, and no case, showcasing what she is capable of. That's something I would always love to see about Sakura. But I love her. I play with her online. I'm really good with her. She's just a fun character that I love. So I always thank Capcom for creating her. Big ups to the creators at Capcom for creating Sakura. Very much. Okay. Good old Sakura. Well, you know, since I am going kind of in release dates and not really chronological order, but more of when the games were released, we'll take a trip now to the world of Street Fighter 3. And this game right here, people dog this game. I don't know why fans dog this game. I liked Street Fighter 3. I thought it was very good. I thought the engine was good. This showcases a lot of the characters a lot older. For example, the main two, Ryu and Ken, are a lot older. They're like maybe in their early or mid 30s now. And we showcased it was called the Next Generation. And when we're introduced to female characters in Street Fighter 3, we got our hands at the first native African of the Street Fighter universe, in the form of Ellen. Ellen, to me, I loved her for a lot of reasons, because A, I love the Brazilian style of capoeira, and that's what she was a style of, and the engine really worked with her. So you can see her go through the movements and things like that, and you see her getting in the rhythm and things like that. So you would see that with her, and she was another one that was really carefree. She had a really carefree attitude, even though she came from this African tribe, and she's a princess actually, but she always wanted to see the outside world. That was the main gist of her story. She's never been outside of her tribe and saw what the outside world had to offer. But she was a practitioner of capoeira, and she too had strong, capoeira has a strong upper body and leg strength as well, and they showcased that very well with her. My favorite song of hers is from Street Fighter 3 Third Strike, I believe. I believe it's that one, because that was the one where she had the song Beats, Come Beats, Come Beats, Beat. When you see her really on the African Serengeti, and you see the big sunset background and the wildlife just running around. I love that. That's my favorite of her theme. But Ellen, she really showcased how just carefree was. Like everything when her winning poses, like she balanced herself on one arm, or sometimes she'll fall out and then she'll look back at you and smile, or she'll just get down in a pose and just look at you and things like that. She would return after a while. She would finally come back because she, amongst a lot of the Street Fighter 3 characters, that was like their only game they appeared in. But then later on, she came in Super Street Fighter 4, which was great. You know, I was like, yes, finally they put Street Fighter 3 characters in there, which I was hating. I was like, why didn't they never put them in the games? And we finally get to see her, and she was just fun. And I think Street Fighter Cross Tekken she was in as well. Like I said, guys, correct me, you know. But I loved Ellen. I thought she was really fun, and she was the first practitioner of Capoeira in the Street Fighter universe. So that was a milestone for her as well, and for the character, and for the series. You know, with Street Fighter, you know, the series was always showcasing different martial arts styles, but we never had a Capoeira practitioner, and they finally showcased Ellen, and that was fun, very fun indeed. So, you know, with Ellen being the first practitioner of Capoeira, I give you guys. Let's talk about in the sense the resident ninja of the Street Fighter universe, or I should say, Kunich, meaning female ninja. That's none other than Ibuki. Yeah, Ibuki was another one of those characters from the Street Fighter universe. She first appeared in Street Fighter 3. When we first see her, you see her practicing, and then she gets into her fighting style, which is really cool. She was just showcased as a young girl. She was a young girl, maybe like 16, 17 years old. And when we see her fight, she's fighting in her village, and everybody in her village are ninja. We all know that. And she showcased just how badass and how fast she is. Like, everything about her was just really the traditional ninja style. Like, she would throw, you know, kunais and things like that at you, and a lot of hard, swift, fast kicks. You know, nothing too over the top, but just a lot of traditional ninjutsu style like you would think and you would expect from her. But the thing was that she was showcased as being a young teenage girl, and I think she's older than Sakura, but probably in that same range as her. But she was still great. She's still badass, you know. And to this day, she's still fun to play with. She is in the latest games and stuff with, you know, Street Fighter, and I'm glad that she has a big fan base that she deserves. You know, because like I said, you know, with the world of Street Fighter, you know, you would want to showcase, you know, different versions and ethnic backgrounds and, you know, martial arts styles, and just, of course, she being the first, once again, another milestone, she being the first ninja of, in a sense, the first official quote-unquote ninja of the Street Fighter universe, because you can kind of put Vega in that category too, but because, you know, they call him the Spanish ninja. But here is one who literally traditionally dresses up ninja style, things like that, uses kunais and things like that. That was something that I always found really pleasing about her, very much. But Ibuki is definitely one of those characters, you know, I definitely like very much. And I'm not alone. I believe I'm a believe I'm not alone with that, guys. Um, she's definitely a fan favorite amongst a lot of Street Fighter fans like yours truly. So we talked about some more. We did Ellen, we did Ibuki. Now we talk about another female character. Well, at first, didn't even think she was a female. Um, she hit it well. I will admit that. Until one time, her gi opened up enough where I could see the boobs. But I'm like, damn, she hit that well. She acts like a boy, and she kind of probably just how she was raised. She was probably raised like a boy. But I'm talking about, y'all should already know who I'm talking about. I'm talking about Makoto. Yeah, Makoto was the character from the Street Fighter 3 series. The Street is just Street Fighter period, but she first appeared in Street Fighter 3. That when we saw her, it's like, is that a boy or a girl? When I first saw her, I thought it because of the fact that I had just finished watching. Because I remember it vividly. I had just finished watching the Street Fighter Alpha animated movie, and in that movie, remember Ryu had a little brother called Shun. So I thought that was Shun transitioned over into the game, but he went under a different name. And so when I saw, I'm like, she bowing down, turns around, Savaja! And I'm like, okay. Then I'm like, am I fighting a girl, boy or girl? And I'm thinking it's Shun. And she just had really a rugged, aggressive style, like throws were really aggressive, very much force, like a lot of force. She would put everything into every attack of hers, and that was something I loved about it. Like even one of her special arts moves were like she would get really heated up, like she would get really aggressive, like her whole face would turn red. It was really funny. But the one thing I didn't like was how she fell. With Capcom, they had her fall right splat on top of her head, bam. And I'm like, oh, but she did have a lot of. I loved her spunk. I loved her aggressiveness. Always willing to basically keep going the distance, pushing herself even further. That was something I always loved about her. And her theme, especially in Third Strike, badass, completely badass. I love that theme. That was one of my favorite themes from Street Fighter 3 Third Strike. That was one of my favorites. I must say that I loved it. She definitely had all it took to be. The one thing I also like is that since she was really aggressive, she had no projectile attacks. And I always felt, everybody feels that a character always needs a projectile attack. I've read that on plenty of forums and stuff, and I'm like, not every character needs a projectile or a fireball, and she didn't. She needed a fireball attack or a projectile attack to work for her. Everything she had in her tools of the trade worked for her. And we've seen, and she's, even to this day now, her popularity is rising because of that, and I'm glad to see that her popularity is rising. Makoto definitely, I think once again, I think she's just as maybe as young. She's another one of those youngsters that are in the category of Sakura and Ibuki and all of them. I don't think she's out of her teens. I think I could be wrong. Maybe 16, 17 years old, but of age, but she still is a great character nonetheless. And I'm glad to see that there is more characters like that. Makoto is like that. I think Capcom designed her pretty well, given that image of boy or girl. Like, you can't really tell unless you get really close, or her gi opens up and you see the boobs. But other than that, it's a mystery. Like, you can mistake her for a boy. You know, that was something that always intrigued me about her. But Makoto's cool very much. So yeah, like I said, you know, with the Street Fighter 3 characters in terms of Ibuki, especially the females, you know, I don't know why a lot of people dog on Street Fighter 3. Maybe because of the fact that like most of the characters in the Street Fighter 3 series look like they belong more in Darkstalkers. You know, there are a lot of them that I can name off the top of my head that look like, you know, they belong in Darkstalkers instead of, you know, the Street Fighter series. Necro, Q, Quill, 12, people like that. They look like they belong in Darkstalkers. But you know, I like Street Fighter 3. I'm probably amongst the only ones few that likes that game. I don't know. I still play it to this day. It's still fun. But once again, still going in chronological kind of gaming order how the games came out. I'm not going in chronological order. But we finally Alpha finally came back out with another game, and they brought us Street Fighter Alpha 3. And with Street Fighter Alpha 3, they added more characters as well. They added some new modes to it and things like that. And we're still in the world of like, you know, the younger versions of characters. But we get some more female characters as well. And that was great, you know, see some more female characters. And one of them was known as this character. She was a rich girl. She was a high school kid. Look, she had the same kind of uniform, looked like, but she went to either a different school or not. But she was also the rival to Sakura, kind of in a sense. Sakura being Ryu, she being Ken, as Ken and Ryu have that big, that friendly rivalry. But you know but this rivalry was kind of more like she didn't like Sakura, and I'm talking about, as you all should know, Karin, or Karin, however you want to pronounce it. She came along at a time to me where I was like, you know, it's good to see Sakura has really a rival in her age bracket. And Karin was more of the character, you know, she was, you know, she's a rich girl, but she practices martial arts as well, and she's always trying to be better than Sakura. You know, almost like she wants, in a sense, Sakura's is very popular. She wants that because, you know, she's rich and everything like that. And I remember when I first saw her, when I first fought her in the game, a lot of striking styles, like to the neck, the throat. It felt more like she was practicing snake style of kung fu. It was really, that's how it kind of reminded me of. And with Karin, she comes on, you see how much arrogance this girl has. It was like, boy, she's about to fight you, she's like this, and then she goes, like please, I got this. But I loved her stage music. I loved her theme. Her theme music was great. And if you've never heard it, plug it up on YouTube and just listen to it. It is just phenomenal. Now on her stage, you're fighting on her big yacht. Kind of in a coincidence, anytime you're fighting Ken on his board, you see his big yacht or things behind him. You know, being Ken's rich as well. But the difference between Ken and Karin was like she was really brash and more arrogant. Ken was brash in the beginning, but you saw he kind of mellowed down with age and showcased that I don't need to be brash and arrogant. But, you know, I loved her stage. It was just Karin, she only appeared in one game. That's the problem. One game. And that was Street Fighter Alpha 3. Of course, when Udon did the Street Fighter comics, you know, they had a miniseries with Sakura, and Karin played like Sakura's like rival adversary in that. that series, which was really good. But she's only appeared in one game, and I'm like I said, I would love to see her in another game, but older in a sense. Like I said, that goes for Sakura as well. Seeing her older and see how much she's grown in her techniques and everything like that, and does she still carry that grudge and that rivalry, that kind of bitter rivalry with Sakura? But she was fun, for what they gave us in Alpha 3, but she's never made an appearance outside of Alpha 3, and that's kind of the problem. I think she got left like in the back burner, and I feel that I want to see more of her. I would like to see more of her. I like to see her character grow, her techniques grow, things like that. So that's another character that I wish they would kind of showcase a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? But Karen was fun. I love her stage though. I kid you not, guys. She was just really fun. The stage was great. Their theme was just great. I loved it. All right, so you guys know by now, or you should know, I'm a big wrestling fan. I love wrestling. I'm a huge wrestling fan since I was 5 years old. Dang, it's been that long. That was... I'm getting old. Man, that was 25 years ago. Jesus Christ. I'm a big wrestling fan, and whenever they introduce wrestling into fighting games, I love it. And with the Street Fighter series, we saw characters like, well, pretty much at the time, Zangief, the Red Cyclone, and people like that. We saw another fan favorite Street Fighter 3 character, which I wish they would put more into, put him in more games. Alex, he was more of a grappler, but he still had wrestling techniques. But we finally get a female wrestler. Yes, we get a female wrestler who had all the skills of lucha libre style, a lot of high flying techniques, and she sure knew how to use that ass of hers as a weapon. And I'm talking about Rainbow Mica. Rainbow Mica was once again another character introduced in the Alpha series. Young, but a wrestler. She was a wrestler. She dressed up very bold, and had a lot, light blue, white. She had big blonde ponytails, but she was more of a wrestler, and like I said, very high flying style. Think of Rey Mysterio, just female, or Jushin Thunder Liger, or people like that. The Ultimate Dragon, people like that. Rainbow Mica kind of had that. She had all the techniques of, wrestling style moves and everything like that. But like I said, she knew how to use that bum of hers. Like, she had a couple of moves where she used her butt at people, which was kind of funny. But once again, for a while, she was another one. For a while, she only appeared in Street Fighter 3. And I believe she made a comeback in Super Street Fighter 4. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys. Like I said, man, I'm getting old. I'm losing my memory. But she was fun. I did like her, and she's another one I want to see more of. Like, put her more into other games, future games, because I don't like seeing some characters get pushed to the back burner because they may not be as popular as this character. But with the female characters, I think no matter what, just put all the female characters in every incarnation of the games, whether it's a sequel or not. To me, yeah, but Mica was fun. I love just all her high flying techniques, like she'll flip off the wall, flying cross body, and things like that. It was just really fun. Her goal was to fight Zangief. She always wanted to fight Zangief, and she got her chance. I believe that was her sub boss in Alpha 3. Was Zangief. She got to fight him, but I would love to see her go up against El Flegge or somebody like that. That'd be really fun. But Rainbow Mica was fun. She was a lot of fun, definitely. So we're gonna end Alpha 3 with the next two characters. And I'm gonna leave them. Not gonna really talk too much about them because they only kind of made really an appearance in Alpha 3, and then we saw like what happened to them like in Street Fighter 4 and the endings and things like that. And that's the characters of Junie and Julie, uh, another one of the dolls or killer bees of Bison. They were pretty much like Cammy in a sense. You fought both of them at the same time in Alpha, and then you could have been able to unlock them and play with them. Not too much to talk about them because, like I said, their characters didn't really have any evolution to the point. They pretty much, one of them became really catatonic, and the other one like can't really remember a lot of stuff, so it's kind of bad. But they were fine. But like I said, not a lot to talk about. One of them, I believe, Julie, was from T-Hawk's tribe, and he was searching for her. The other one, Junie, I can't remember where she was from again, but they both got controlled by Bison and Shadow Law, and basically became one of his doll assassins. And they were like the only ones to get out of control of Liv, in a sense. Like I said, one of them became really catatonic, didn't know, and I think it was Julie that was actually being taken care of by an elderly family. Like, she was just really catatonic. She didn't know who she was, where she was. She was just really like just out there. And Cammy would watch over Junie in the hospital. But yeah, that was pretty much the basis of them. Even though they were playable characters, they still are females of Street Fighter, and I thought it was at least talk a little bit about them. But that's just a little bit about them. All right, so after that, guys, we didn't see Street Fighter for a while, especially for Street Fighter fans like me. It was really hard to see fighting games come out. No Street Fighter. No Street Fighter. Like, oh man, like, then finally we got word Street Fighter 4 is in the making. And then we finally got a preview of what it's going to look like. Now, some people didn't like the look. Some people said, I don't like the blend of 3D and 2D. I didn't mind. I thought it was the perfect way to go with Street Fighter. Not to go too fully polygon, but just the right blend. Stay on that borderline between 2D, 3D. Because EX proved that Street Fighter can't go fully 3D, in my opinion. But we are introduced to another character that in Street Fighter 4 that I wasn't really a big fan of hers in the beginning. I'm like, okay, like, I like her look and everything like that, but she's kind of like, in a sense, the special agent, like the James Bondish character of the Street Fighter universe. And everybody should know who I'm talking about as Crimson Viper. Crimson Viper, like I said, loved her look. It was really interesting look. She had long red hair. It was like in a bun up top, and to come down into a ponytail. She wore this suit, and she had gadgets in her gloves, her boots, and everything like that. That gave her kind of an edge. Now, she was working for somebody, but we found out that she's a mom. She's a mom, and she does care about her daughter. That was the main thing. But her moves her attacks were really good. Her popularity has really grown now. It has gotten bigger. I've seen some great cosplays of her, where girls just look dead on like her. But I'm not really a big fan of Crimson Viper. For example, I think I don't believe she should have been in Marvel vs. Capcom 3. Yeah, that's me. That's me. I'm being totally real and honest with you guys. I think they could have substituted her for somebody else. But like I said, she's good. Like she's like the James Bondish character of the Street Fighter universe. Um, she's pretty brash. She is pretty brash, pretty arrogant as well. And once again, that comes, I guess that comes with the territory because she's got the gadgets, and we see that a lot. Like when you beat her, you fight her, and you beat her with other characters. They all razz on her about her gadgets. They say that almost everybody says almost the same thing. You'll be so much better without those gadgets or the toys. The one person that dogs her the most is Akuma or Goki, wherever you are in the world. He dogs on her. I'm like, oh my god. Like, the only one that is more humble and kind of gives her a little bit of constructive criticism is Ryu. Ryu literally says it like, why do you use those things? You could be so much better without them. And that's kind of my sense of it. Bison dogs on her, but I think Akuma dogs on her worse. But I don't hate Crimson Viper. I think she's an interesting character. I can see where Capcom was trying to go with her, trying to go with like the special agent. You got ChunLi being Interpol and Cammy being MI13 or MI6. So let's get a special agent character that's kind of got the gadgets and everything like that with Crimson Viper. So I don't mind. She's cool. Like I said, I like her character design very much. Very much. Yeah. And last but not least, as for characters, the women of Street Fighter that I want to talk about that appeared in Street Fighter games, not Capcom games outside. That's why I did not put you didn't see Poison in this, because Poison technically I don't consider Street Fighter cross the continuity with the Street Fighter series in a sense, and technically she's more of a Final Fight character in a sense. That's just me. But that character she wrote her popularity rose very fast. She skyrocketed very fast, and it was a milestone as well for the character and for the series as well. Because if you notice, in the Street Fighter series, there was no character in that series that used the Korean martial art style of Taekwondo, a martial art style that I practice myself. Well, one of them. It's one of them. And you should all know who I'm talking about. Yes, Jiraiya. Jiraiya. She has a milestone in this, people. Not only is she the first practitioner in Street Fighter to study Taekwondo, she's also the first practitioner. She's also the first Korean in Street Fighter. And when we see her, she has this look of just, man, what is she? I look at her like a mixture of Harley Quinn, Typhoid Mary, and anybody else you want to think of in comics that's kind of crazy. Or just her. Jiraiya came along, in a sense, in the right time, in the right place. Showcasing Bison ain't the only one that could be as deadly and powerful. Jiraiya is just and man, did she come off just like scary. Like she gives you this look like she's hungry to hurt you. She's getting off on it. Very fast kicks and styles, like I said, being Taekwondo, a lot of kicks. One of her, she literally, her super, like, she literally grab you with her leg, lift you up with her leg, and pull you back. Put her leg all the way back her leg while you're on top of her leg, and then look at you and like tickle you or like about to kiss you or something. And I'm like, that's ill. That is ill, but is crazy. And her popularity has just grown very much, and that's kind of cool. That's really good to see that people have really gotten to her character, because you know sometimes with characters like this, characters that just make their appearance in maybe one game, or you don't really think their popularity is going to skyrocket that fast, but Jiraiya's did. Hers just went shoot really quick, and because of that, we see her in other games now. And because she's just a really popular character now. Very dangerous, and on par with those females that I just talked about earlier, before her. And she's the last female, technically in the Street Fighter universe that to come out. I do wish, there'd be more characters, but yeah, Jiraiya's just up there, guys. She's a great character, very much. I do like her. Alright. So, gamers, I hope you guys enjoyed this. My thoughts on the women of Street Fighter. Maybe I'll do another one. Maybe I'll do the women of Mortal Kombat and the women of, the women of Mortal Kombat, the women of Soul Calibur, or Tekken, or things like that. It all depends on how you guys like this one. It's kind of. With the women of Street Fighter, I do hope we see more female Street Fighter characters, not just male characters. I want to see some more female characters. Maybe MMA is so popular now. Let's get a female mixed martial artist in there like they did for Dead or Alive, or let's get a female Muay Thai practitioner that will kind of rivals Adin and Sagat, or let's see, maybe a female samurai character, but be interesting. Just overall, but mainly, basically, like I said, I would love to see a female Shotokan practitioner. The same style that Ryu, Ken, Sean, not Dan, practice under. I would love to see a female character like that. Or, like I said, see Sakura finally get trained by Goken. There's just so many varieties of characters I would love to see that don't always have to be male. I hope Capcom would do that and give us more female characters like that, because with the women of Street Fighter, I'm a big fan of, and I support them. And of course, where would Street Fighter be without ChunLi? ChunLi helped the other female characters, and it's just a blast to talk about them very much. No matter what, whether you hate them or not, whether you like this character or whether you don't like this character, you're or she's crap, such Sonya's better than ChunLi. It don't matter. It's everybody's entitled to their own opinion, and that's what I want to hear from you guys, my fellow gamers. What are your thoughts on the women of Street Fighter, the women that I just showcased? How do you feel about them? Do you like them? Do you hate them? Who's your favorite? Who's not your favorite? Who's your least? Who you play with online? Give me the whole 9 yards. You know me, guys. I love input. Give me your input. And I'm looking forward to hearing what you guys got to say. So this is M.V.K Kid saying peace and love. Stay tuned, guys. Keep it real. Have a happy new year as well. And stay tuned for this channel, because some new things are coming for this channel that I'm gearing up for. Not just things like this and video game reviews and things like that, because this is my video game channel, but there's some other things, juicy things coming up. But other than that, this is M.V.K Kid. Y'all guys take care.